So this is pretty interesting. So I already made a video talking about how there was potential for Trump attorneys who kept bringing up these frivolous lawsuits. If you don't know what a frivolous lawsuit is, it's just basically a non-serious lawsuit that has zero merit whatsoever and is a complete waste of time, and should not have brought to the court. And so there's ethics that attorneys have to follow because judicial resources, court resources are very slim and very, they're very limited. That's why there's most cases end in plea deals right before it even goes to trial. So there's ethics rules that they have to follow and being like, okay, this is frivolous. I cannot bring this up to the court. And so it was floated potentially that Trump attorneys Rudy Giuliani, Lynn Wood, Sidney Powell, they would actually face potential sanctions, right? Potential sanctions and legitimately penalties for what they're doing because they're not following those ethics rules. Things like fines or having your bar license revoked, things of that nature. So this is somehow still going on, all right? It says judge floats sanctions for attorneys who sought to block Congress from counting electoral votes. So we're about to be counting our electoral votes here in a couple days. The vice president actually opens the envelopes and counts them. And somehow there's still a lawsuit that has like 11 senators, Republican senators, who are saying, yeah, we don't agree with the democracy and democratic process. We want Mike Pence to choose the president of the United States because that's what the vice president can do according to the Constitution. It says a federal judge on Monday rejected a legal effort from groups of Trump voters to block Congress from officially counting the Electoral College votes and suggested the attorneys involved may be subject to sanctions. In a 7-page decision, Judge James Boasberg denied the group's request for a preliminary injunction against Congress and Vice President Pence in his capacity as president of the Senate from certifying the results of the election. It was yet another defeat for the dubious last-ditch legal maneuvers aimed at overturning President-elect Joe Biden's victory. He's an Obama appointee to the federal district court in D.C. He says it was not a stretch to find a serious lack of good faith here, and warning that they may be subject to sanctions from the court. Quote, their failure to make any effort to serve or formally notify any defendant renders it difficult to believe that the suit is meant seriously. Courts are not instruments through which parties engage in such gamesmanship or symbolic political gestures. As a result, at the conclusion of this litigation, the court will determine whether to issue an order to show cause why this matter should not be referred to its Committee on Grievances for potential discipline of plaintiff's counsel. So basically, there is a potential for actual sanctions on the attorneys who are bringing up these cases. And I think that this is something important to do, and this should have been done a lot earlier in the cycle of when all the bullshit cases where they had like the drunk woman as the star witness saying, oh, I have proof, affidavits, that, the vote counts are being flipped. They were just, throwing shit at the wall, seeing what stuck, alleging electoral fraud and voter fraud simultaneously, saying that dead people voted, also saying that, the vote counters were flipping votes, the vote machines were flipping votes, the vote counting machines. It was just insanity. So if you properly sanctioned them for those frivolous and meritless lawsuits, you wouldn't be in the situation where you have these ridiculous lawsuits now. So I really urge them to follow these ethics rules and, or in this case, ethics violations, and sanction these attorneys who are bringing up frivolous lawsuits that have no merits and are not serious attempts at anything other than political theater, wasting the court's time and doing serious damage to democracy. I really cannot explain to you how fucking batshit crazy this lawsuit is. It's alleging that according to the Constitution of the United States, okay, the vice president has the ability, the authority to invalidate electors that he does not believe are accurate or doesn't want to count. When in reality, the VP has a very ceremonial role. All he does is just open the envelopes and just count them. It's absolutely insane. Basically, what they're alleging is the vice president gets to pick the president. That's what they're saying. I've never seen a lawsuit like this before. It's truly a dark day in American history. Very, very embarrassing to say the least. But I do hope that they're going to sanction these attorneys because they should have been sanctioned a long time ago, and this would prevent ridiculous things like this.